Okay, Shalom Chavra. This is a finale. I haven't been to the previous, however many there have been, so I don't know if I'm repeating some things, but some thoughts related to Ahavas Torah that take us hopefully through the summer Zman and the period that we're in right now. In terms of obviously Eretz Yisrael being on our minds, I think it will connect a little bit as well. So we learned in yesterday's parsha, Chovav, that Yisro was called Chovav, and Rashi says because he was mechabev es Torah. So I was thinking in relation to this actually. Sometimes you think of something in relation to another thought. So it's wonderful he was mechabev the Torah. It's a very big madrega. But the kasha is, so what happened to Yisro? Like, did he stay? Did he not stay? Did he go back? It seems clear that he didn't end up coming with us to Eretz Yisrael. So even though he was mechabev the Torah, it wasn't ahavas Torah. In other words, there was still a madrega missing between chibuv to have something to aspire to having a great affection towards something. You could be mechabev something, but that's not the level that we're expecting for ourselves to being ohev the Torah. So what's the difference between chibuv and ohev? So someone who is ohev, it has to be constant. It's b'chol rega, b'chol eis, u'v'chol zman. Wherever situation that you're in, that's what ahava is. That's the Rambam talks about what a husband to a wife, what they're supposed to be thinking. It's that constant thought. I would relate it now to our love for Klal Yisrael and to Eretz Yisrael is that constant thought. Even though we're able to do other things, but it's there, whether it's latent, whether it's frontal, whether it's whenever we have a chance to think about it, it should be on our minds. So Ahavas Torah also has to be fully b'chol eis v'chol zman. So you see a person's Ahavas Torah when they're outside of the mizgeres of the regular learning. When you're in a time that's not the Seder time, you're in a time that's the June Zman, that's the summertime. If there's a true Ahavas, if it's chibuv, so fine, you're mechabev the Torah when you're supposed to be around the Torah. But if it's Ahava, so then it has to be in every single situation. You're able to see someone's Ahavas Torah when they're not in the regular setting. What does Torah do to a person? So going back a few weeks ago, the Torah says after the Nazirus, it says he goes through the whole process. V'achar yishteh hanazir yain. And afterwards, the Nazir should drink wine. So the Meforshim are very bothered by what does it mean? Afterwards, the Nazir should drink wine. If he can drink wine, he's not a Nazir anymore. If he was a Nazir, he couldn't drink wine. Well, they say v'achar yishteh yain. So the Chasam Sofer and others, the Yalshich, says that the nature of Nazirus is that it changed the person. It made an impression on the person that even when he's drinking the wine afterwards, he has the shame Nazir, not the Isurim of the Nazirus, but what he went through, that stayed with him, and his status has changed. His status has changed. So one would say the same thing in terms of a Ben Torah. A Ben Torah is a status. If it doesn't matter where you are. You have that shame. If you have that shame, that has to go with you wherever you go. Just like the Nazir, after going through the Nazirus, that shame Nazir stay with him. And when he drinks wine now, after the Nazirus, is a different drinking of wine than before he had the Nazirus. So too, life as a Ben Torah is different after you've gone through your time and years in yeshiva. I said this over this week to Rabbi Jonah Steinmetz, and he said that Rabbi Twersky's father used to like this vort, and he used to say the same thing after Yom Kippur. That when a person goes through Yom Kippur, your actions after Yom Kippur, it takes on a different status. When a person goes through something, it has to stay with him. And that's the idea of Nazirus, and that's the idea of a Ben Torah who is Ohev the Torah. So we talk about the Ahavas Torah comes up in davening every day, where we have first of all V'ahavta Hashem Elokecha. And then 2 seconds later it says V'shinantam levanecha. So it's through the Talmud Torah, the Ahavas Torah, the Ahavas Hashem comes through our Talmud Torah, and the bracha that leads up right before Kriyas Shema, Kabbalah Samichus Shemayim, is also about Ahava Rabbah. Is also about Talmud Torah. So we see very much connected Ahavas Torah, Ahavas Hashem, and Kabbalah Samichus Shemayim. And all these things, what they have in common, in addition to being really important, is that there's that constant nature of them. A person has to be constantly thinking about Ahavas Hashem, constantly thinking about Torah, and constantly Kabbalah Samachos Shemayim. These are not things that, now I'm Kabbalah, now I have Kabbalah, and then later I don't. These are all things that have to be completely permeating a person's life. So just we'll see how long we go through this. On this thought, there's a beautiful idea in Pachad Yitzchak Shavuos Maimar Yudches Perek Beis. I was going to make copies and maybe read the whole thing, but we'll see. So he says like this. There's a Yalkut in Parshas Eikev. The Yalkut says, Ulo davka bo, v'chi efshar la'adam lizdabek b'shechina, v'rei ha'koseh omer eish ochlahu, ela hidabek b'chachamim v'talmideim. Okay, so we've probably heard either this whole Maimar Chazal, parts of the Maimar Chazal, but Rav Hutner, as he does with Chazal, he's medayik. He says, what's this extra word? Ela hidavek b'chachamim v'talmideim. I can understand a person says, you want to get close to Hashem, so hang out with Talmidei Chachamim. What does it mean you should hang out with Talmidei Chachamim and their Talmidim? What's this extra? Chazal must be getting to something over here by this medrash. So, I was thinking in my mind, and hopefully you have a better appreciation now. Sometimes you could be cynical. You see that all the chaver crowding around the Rebbe and walking him to the car and so on. So is that really how you've been mizdabek to a Talmid Chacham? Is that really what the Chazal are getting at? But maybe you'll see. Maybe there is something that the Talmidim is something what's going on over here. So he says, trying to see where to start from over here. So part of being a Talmid Chacham, part of someone who loves the Torah, he says, the Sifri says, V'ahavta Hashem Elokecha, right? How do we love Hashem? So the Sifri says, Talmud Lomar, V'hayu dvarim ha'ela al levavcha. Divrei Sifri halol mishtamshim makor lahadas laharvachas, ki kinyana she'ahavas Hashem overes hi derech Talmud Torah. So first thing, as we said before a little bit, Ahavas Hashem comes derech Talmud Torah. Lo od el shebibli Talmud Torah ein lo nishum mavo lahavas Hashem. Without Talmud Torah, we don't even have a direction to come into Ahavas Hashem. Because without Talmud Torah, we don't know how you come to love Hashem. He says, here's where the Rav Hutner makes a few connections. Hine mitzad Talmud Torah mufareshes b'parshas v'ahavta einenu chovas limuda shel Torah ela davka hachova lios melami Torah. When the Torah says how you come to Avas Hashem, well, the Parsha Kriya Shema. The Parsha Kriya Shema isn't about Talmud Torah. It's about teaching Torah. It's about Vishinanta Levanecha. If a person is able to teach Torah, that's how he exemplifies his Ahavas Torah. Okay, why would that be? So Rav Hutner doesn't say this over here, but I would assume the reason is that when you love something and it means so much to you, so you want to tell it to others and you want to teach it to others. So if a person just loves Torah and he sits in a room all day without teaching to anybody, that doesn't really express the Ahavas Torah. The Ahavas Torah is that you're overflowing with it and you need to teach it to others. Skipping a little bit. Umahalach advarim kachu. Mitzvahs harbatas haTorah ne'ameresi b'loshem mishinant v'vanecha. Okay. Then he has a beautiful way of saying this. Before this pshat of Chazal, Rav Hutner says that you would have thought there's two different things. There's Talmud Torah and there's teaching Torah. It's two different things. Some people can do one, some people can do others, some people can do both, but there's two different sugim or categories of things. He says what the Sifri is telling us is that it's all the same. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped. But now that we know that the limus from Vishinam to Venecha, after we understand this diuk, that the Harbatas Torah, it's not just Harbatas Torah, it's Vishinam to Venecha, they call them the Banim. So must be Harbatas Torah is how it comes together with the Talmud Torah and it becomes that of the Banim. Harbatas Torah is Yitziras Banim B'kocho Shel Talmud Torah. She'ein habatzas, skipping a few lines, she'ein habatzas Torah miskayemes kifi shehi kusuva b'Torah, el bizman she'habatzas Torah musnas hi b'tziras bonim al yada. Okay? So basically, what Hutner is doing over here is he's lining these things up. You have a mitzvah Talmud Torah, you have a mitzvah to love Hashem. The way that we express our Talmud Torah is through teaching Torah to others, but not just through teaching, it's when you teach the Torah to others, it's so much of part of your nature is that the people that you're teaching to become your children, that they become part of you. That's part of your love. If a person loves something and he gives it to others, not just giving it to others, the people that you're giving it to become a part of you, they become the banim. So just to sum it up, at the end he says, V'nimtza, Hamakom hamuvak lidabek b'shchina. What's the best place? The makom hamuvak. Such a strong language. If you want to, what is the makom hamuvak of the to be mizdabek with the shchina? Be'emsus hadvekus bechachamim hu dafka b'makom shebo mizgalis piskas devekuso shel chacham b'toraso. If you want to be connected to a Talmid Chacham in the highest sense of the matter, it's when the Talmid Chacham is expressing his most connectedness to the Torah. How does the Talmid Chacham express that? That's when he's teaching other people Torah. That's the Piska. B'giluya shel Piska zuhi davka b'makom shechamim mitztarfim letalmideim hakuruyim banim. So when it comes all together, Rav Hutner says, when you have the Talmid Chacham and he's with his Talmidim, he's teaching them, they're mishamish, they're together b'tzavsa, you're able to see that full expression come full circle of Vishinantum levanecha elu habanim. He's overflowing with the Torah and he's giving it to them. And that's where you're mishamish tamacha, that's where the devekos, closest you can get to the Shechina, is to be in that matzav of all these things coming together. So there's that you can't get all the time. But that's what we're striving for when we want to be mizdabek to the Shechina through the Talmid Chacham. It's not just a hak, right? It's not just like they're all hanging out together and there's a big circle. But it's an expression of their ahavas Torah. It's an expression of when they give over Torah. It's not just saying it over and giving it to a recorder. It's giving it to Talmidim who are banim, and by doing so, that's the best expression of ahavas Torah. But again, getting back to the beginning, when there is an ahava, it has to be b'chol zman uv'chol eis, and in every circumstance, so that the definition of the Talmud Torah, of the Ben Torah, continues with him in that status throughout the summer. And Mir Hashem, you should take these ideas with you till we come back to a full base Medrash and Hava.